Alright, first and foremost, I want to give all the honours and praises and glory belongs to my Lord and Savior. His name is Yahweh by Sham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Mahavaka Kodash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Son's name is Yahweh Shai, and who I reverence. And honours to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit and to the hopeful elect across the globe and to the few, very few brothers and sisters listening and also learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. Alright. This lesson is gonna be a quickie, it's gonna be an interesting one. Right? And concerning on who runs the earth. Right? We know the Heavenly Father controls all things, right? Yahweh Sham Yahweh Shai. But who actually runs the earth? If you were able to select a nation, whose face would you put on it? What nation would you refer that to? Right? Because there's a pattern. There's a pattern to certain things, and if your eyes are open, you are going to be able to see that pattern. Right? I'm going to go into a few articles I was reading up on. Go to Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. There's a clue right there. The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. So it's been given for an appointed time. Right? Into the hand of the wicked. Your hand represents what? Power, right? You pick things up with your hands. You put things down with your hands. He covereth the face of the judges. Who are the judges? We are them judges. Our faces were covered during what? The Renaissance period. Right? Whereof, if not where, and who is he? Scripture saying, if it's not him, then where is he? It's clear. But people want to say, I don't know anybody. You are right. Anybody could be wicked from any nation, because there's wicked people in every nation. But who are the wicked? And we're going to get into it. And this ain't going to be an anti. I've got to clear this up. This is not going to be an anti-Semitic type video. But you need to look at the patterns. Why is it every time you watch the news, right? Who's there? Who's running things? Every time you watch the end of a movie, why does it say the executive producer, Solstein and Finkelstein or I don't know, something Berg? Are you seeing the patterns of who's actually running the world? Let's go into a few things. Even the television networks, Baba Kasha, when you go into the television networks, right? These are the names that are written down. Gerard Levine, right? CEO, director of AOL, Time Warner. AOL, that's the internet, right? Services. And Time Warner. Time Warner is the cinemas, right? And these are so-called, all right, I want to be a little bit friendly, right? These are so-called Jewish people. I say so-called Jewish because if I said something's blackish, it's not quite black, it's pertaining to that color, right? So these are the people that are running the world. Yes, the so-called people that call themselves Jewish today, they run the world. They run the earth. And they read something called the Babylonian Talmud, right? Talmud, right? Okay. Excuse me just a minute. Another name, Michael Eisner, chairman and CEO of Walt Disney Company. And guess what Walt Disney promotes? They promote, yes, pedophilia. They promote that on a large scale, right? And guess who runs that? Michael Eisner, chairman and CEO of Walt Disney Companies, which deals with what? Mickey Mouse and different cartoons. Edna Bronfman, senior chairman of Seagram Company. Edgar Jr., head of Universal Studios. right? Dennis Dammerman, Vice Chairman of General Electric. Peter Chenning, President of Coco of News Corporation Limited. Well, seven collectively control ABC, NBC, CBS, and Turner Broadcasting System. CNN, MTV, which you had Sumner Redstone that previously, before he passed away, he owned that, right? And there's a reason why they changed their names, because they don't want to be noticed. Some of them. MCA Records, Geffen Records, DG Record, DGC Records, Interscope Records, right? Which Dr. Dre, he skipped that after he came off death row. Who do you think that was run by? And who do you think ran death row? So-called Jewish man, I forgot his name, right? They run all your companies. These are the big cats. These are the big cats calling the shots. These are the shot callers, right? And it says Baba Kasha. Geffen Records, DGC Records, Interscope Records. Remember, these are the so-called Jewish. We're what you would call, I'm not going to say so-called Jewish. We're Edomites. They call themselves Jewish, right? They're Edomites. Esau, according to the Bible, they are Satan's children. Okay? I'm not going to say so-called Jewish because you have people that are so-called Jewish, and I'm not anti-Semitic, because for me to be anti-Semitic, hold on a minute. First of all, I am Semitic, so how can I be anti-Semitic? And it's actually Sham. It's not Shem. Shem means name, right? It's Sham. There's no E in the Hebrew. I don't speak Yiddish. Okay, which they speak Yiddish, right? Which is a mix of what? German and something else. Okay. So again, you do have so-called Jewish people that are part of the tribes in Israel, yeah. But this is going into who they really are. We're Edomites. And that whole thing of Judaism, long story short, remember you had so-called Christians, right? And the Knights and so forth, right? That were going to Jerusalem. When you had the Mongols, you had the Muslims. When you had what you would call Khazars, which was a great army. Type in Khazars, the Khazar Empire, right? And they were being backed into a corner to convert to either Christianity or Muslim. So they were backed into a corner. They had a king called King Bulan. Type in King Bulan, right? And he think, you know what? We're being backed into a corner, so we're going to have to figure out what to do. So they came up with a religion. Who were the cleanest people up on earth? The Jews. So they came up with a religion and called it Jewish. Okay? And therefore, that's where you have the term Jewish today. Right? Which they made a religion out of the head tribe of Judah, which means Yahweh. Thank you. Right? So they made a religion out of one of the tribes. That's what they done. Right? And they were being cleaned up, by the way, because they were discussing, they were very warlike. The cousins, they were very warlike people, right? That's why we would hire them out of armies, because they had such a great army, right? A lot of them were so-called Turkic peoples. And a lot of them were Mongolians as well. Okay? Yes, you have so-called Jewish Mongolians. Okay? And they converted to Judaism, a religion. They were not actually Jews. They converted to it because they were getting backed into the corner by Islam and Christians, and they didn't want to join none of them. So that's what they done. They came up with a religion, and today it's called Judaism, right? Because prior to that, they were very unclean people. They were unclean. They were phallic worshippers, right? And you know what a phallic is? It's a man's penis. And that's why you have certain buildings, obelisks they call it, which is phallic worship, right? See, I do my studying over here. Okay. So that's who these people are, but they're not Khazars. They were part of the Khazar Empire. Their real nationality, according to the scriptures, is Amalek. Amalek is the head tribe of Esau, and that's who's running the world today. They go by different names, because if they told you they were Esau, then that would defeat their whole lie and everything they've built up. Okay. So the Edomites, they're the children and of Satan, right? Go to Revelations 2 and 9. Abakishah. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and they go to synagogues, by the way. But more so, this is, you do know this is referring to our people, right? But it's twofold, this scripture as well. The synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. They're liars, but I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So, we're not Israelites, right? At all. Those that are in that land today. And another scripture that backs that up, bear me just a minute. They're known as Esau. You had Esau and Jacob, right? Two brothers, right? Jacob represents the tribes, right? The 12 tribes. And you had Esau, which was our brother, but he was a wicked brother. Okay? So where was I? Go to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 14. Make sure I get this on point. And 2. Isaiah 2. And jump straight to verse 3. And many people shall say, go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge among the nations, he shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. Hold on. When you watch the news, what have you got? Have you seen what's going on within Gaza, so-called Palestine, Israel? Have you seen what's going on? The scripture says they will learn no more war anymore. So, if it says they will learn no more war anymore, then what's going on? There's war in that land. So that shows you they are not the inhabitants of that land. Because the Palestinians, they're actually Philistines. The tall, dark, tall Philistines. Then they're not Arabs. Right? Ishmael, he belongs to Arabia. That Arabian Peninsula. Right? So it doesn't even belong to them. And the Israelis, they were put in that land via the Balfour Declaration from the British. Right? Via the British. They signed an agreement. Right? To get put in that land. So it doesn't belong to none of those nations, but they're fighting over that holy land. Because they know that land is precious. That's a holy land. That's a precious land. And that's our land. Yeah, you know the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Indianos that you look down upon, that you call useless, they belong to that land. They're inhabitants of that land. Right? It doesn't belong to them. They shouldn't be in there. And the scripture says they shall learn no more war anymore. So they're not fulfilling the prophecies. That's why there's also known as something called what they call it? Is it kibbutz? Yes, the kibbutz, where they have to bring fruit and different things into that land. Kibbutz, I believe, is called. Right? So they're not fitting the prophecies. And one may say, well, no, they are doing that. It says they shall bring, because when you read bear with it. When you read, he shall go and teach of his ways and walk in his paths. A lot of people say, no, well, they're doing that. People are coming to Jerusalem, but these are not the inhabitants from that land. They're heathens that have been put in that land. Okay? You see them on the Wailing Wall wearing the massive cowboy hats. Some call them. They have different names. Some say they're so-called crypto Jews. Some say they're Ashkenaz. No, they're Edomites according to the Bible, and these are the people that are running the world. All right, these are the people that run your schools. These are the people that run your banks. These are the people that run the entertainment industry. These are the people that run your news. Right? These are the people that own your so-called mortgage, your property. These are wealthy individuals. They have enough. They have so much money. They can buy you out. That's how much money they have. They can reconstruct. You see these construction workers digging, knocking down buildings. Well, who do you think is responsible for that? So-called Jewish. And I'm being nice, even just saying that. Because really, I could just say Edomites, Esau. They're so-called Jewish. They're the ones calling the shots. Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So we went to that Baba Kasha. I want to stay on point. Right? And what else is there? What else is there? Baba Kasha. But nobody wants to say it because they're too scared. They get targeted. Let's just be real. Who's calling the shots? Right? And they funded all the wars from Waterloo, all the wars they funded. And even we're gonna get back to it, Baba Kasha. Even when you have Jerry, what was his name? Jerry Heller. I believe he ran, what was it? NWA. Right? Which Eazy-E was signed to him, Dr. Dre was signed to them. His name was Jerry Heller, right? He had to hire a what was his name? Ara Selsky, right? As his corporate attorney. Okay. And he was Israeli born security chief named what's his name? Michael Clean. To what? To ward off angry so-called exploited so-called blacks because he was exploiting them. Right? Using rap music and weaponizing it against our people. And getting rich off it. Alright? And even when you have, just check the pattern, even your diamond dealer. Who do they go to? They go to Jacob, the diamond dealer. Jacob Arabo. Highly favored, by the way. He does do some nice jewelry. Highly favored jewelry merchant. Now, are you seeing the pattern now of who really runs this world? Right? Okay? And all that was allowed to happen because we sinned. We went off. Right? That's why. Okay. They have all the top positions within society. Have you noticed that? Right? They get promoted. Right? You want them shekels. You got to go to them if you want them shekels. Right? And even with Hitler, there's a lot of controversy. Some saying, oh, was he a rough child? No, he wasn't a rough child and so forth. He hated the Jews and all that. No, there's evidence and there's proof. Right? That Hitler, yes, was so-called Jewish, and Alois, what was the name? I think it was Alois. Right? Alois Skickelgruber, if I'm saying the name right, Skickelgruber. Hitler was son of what? Anselm Salomon Rothschild. Right? All you have to do is follow the money. Then you can see who's pulling the strings. And in one photo, you have one photo I was looking at. You have someone called by the name of Moses. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Prekeles, who financed the People's Observer, the papers. Oh yeah, I got news for you if you didn't know. Who do you think controls the papers? They got their hands in every fashion of like they got their tentacles everywhere. Guess what it's called? Zionism. That's what it's called. Under the cloak of communism. Well, who ran the Communist Party? Jewish. Let's be real. Who ran the Bolshevik Revolution? Jewish. Who took out the Tsars? Jewish. Right? The Brown brothers, again, and not as I call them Jewish, but they're Edomites because they're the ones that run the world. And guess who runs the American lobbies in America? Jewish. They run all the lobbies. So if you run the lobbies, you're running the laws that get put out. In 1933, type it in the article that was read Judea. It was the Daily Express. It said Judea headlines. Judea declares war on Germany. 1933. Right? And boycotted Germany goods. Boycotting Germany. Why was it boycotting goods? Because Germany were making a lot of money. Germany are brilliant when it comes to providing and making and building new things. But you had the Jews within that land. They were just sitting on their arse making money because they had the shekels to do that. That's why Henry Ford, he had a disdain. Henry Ford, yeah, the one that creates the Ford car, right? He had a disdain for the so-called Jews because he was producing and they were trying to do him over. They were like, now you have to go through us if you want to produce, your goods. And that's the way it's always been. Right? And that's why when our people talk about, yeah, we need to create our own money and banking systems, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They tried that in Brixton, that didn't last too long. Yeah, our own black money, bro. You can only go so far. Look what happened to Gaddafi when he tried that. He wanted to do away with the Federal Reserve and just deal with gold. Because Gaddafi was looking to do his own currency, you know that, right? And they took him out. So it's not going to work. If you try it, it's not going to work. Because we're talking about you want your own money, bro. The elites ain't gonna have that. You have to do it their way or the highway. Because yes, they also control the Federal Reserve. They have their hands in everything. And previously so we've established, yes, Hitler, right, was a Jew, by the way, Jewish, by the way. And this man, yeah, he was set up, right, by Edomites, Esau, Amalek. And you gotta remember, this man had a cultive personality. Hitler had a cultive personality. Even with a little mustache, that was all planned. The haircut. And he was used as a front man for what? The Nazis. Right? Or you can say communism. Because that's what he was pushing. Right? And his mother, who was his mother? Matilda, innit? Matilda Struckelgruber, who was a servant in Rothschild's mansion. Right? And had an illegitimate son which was named Lionel Rothschild. Nathan Rothschild, I think it is. Okay? So, hold on. I thought Hitler had a sheer hatred for Jews. When we just have here that his lineage were Jewish. So I thought the Nazis hated the so-called Jewish. Huh? I thought they were persecuting them. Huh? But it says his father, yeah, was a Jew. Right? Anyways, let's get back to this. So, yeah, those that control this world, it's not the so-called Negro. Even when you have your drug dealers and your mafia, we talk about mafia, right? The mob, right? Mafioso. But Italians were also used as just frontmen. Because when you think about mafia, you think of Italians, Sicilians, right? They were just used as frontmen, like guinea pigs, right? Guess who the true mafia was? There's such thing called the Jewish mafia. They were the top mafia. They were using the Italian as guinea pigs. Right? Okay? But you won't know this if you don't study and you just want to be useless, right? And that's gonna run out soon, right? That rhetoric, you're useless, you're useless, bro. I probably do. I look. I do this work and I still do 10 on my worst day. I'm still 10 times ahead of you. I'm still 10 times ahead of you, even on my worst day, right? Go to Psalm 73. Right? Even on my laziest day, I'm still 10 steps ahead of you. Why? Because I have Yahweh Shai. I'm able to grow. Why you're stagnant? Why? Because you're fucking useless. Let's go to Psalm 73 and 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. This is a psalm of David. I was like that at one point when you see what everybody else has. And that's why they have to bring the nice cars around you. Sometimes they bring certain people around you because they want you to envy them. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. But once you learn this truth, you don't become envious at the prosperity of the wicked, because you don't know how. Well, actually, you do know how they got it. They got it by wicked means, man. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Speaking about the elites, there's no bands in their death. They just pass it on to another to their young ones, right? That's all they do, right? And even the lower level, not the elites, but the lower level Edomites, they have something called trust funds. They just pass that down to their sons, and they take over the business, right? But there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Why is their strength firm? Because they have their tentacles spread all across the world, right? They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. They're living good. Most of the images you see of these elites, they have a massive smile on their face, like they've just won the lotto. They're trillionaires. They don't know what hard work is. Now, their fathers, Nathan, Mayer, Amshar, Rothschild, yeah, they did put in work, but it was usury. They made their money off usury. It was banking. That's how they got wealthy, right? And what's usury? Handing someone something, then charging with interest on top of that. So if you don't pay this, we're going to put up the interest. If you take this long, we're going to pull it up, right? And it says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. So they're very prideful, and violence covereth them as a garment. Yes, these are very violent people too. We went into the Khazars, right? The Khazars was a violent empire. That's why we would hire them out for war, right? And violence covered them as a garment. Their eyes stand up with fatness. They have more than a heart could wish. We're not talking about a millionaire. We're not talking about 100,000. We're not talking about millionaire or 10 million, 20 million. The elites of the elites are laughing at that's chump change to Rem. That's chump change. See, to me, that'd be like, oh, what, 10 million? Ah, yes. That's chump change. These are not billionaires. Well, let's join the Billion Boys Club. These are trillionaires. I forgot what the trillion is. Trillion is when you times what, a billion, I don't know, a billion something times something. Then you get trillion. Right? They're wealth beyond means. Okay? That's why it says their strength is firm. Violence covers them as their eyes stand up with what? They have more than a heart could wish. Bro, they're living the vida loca. This is their heaven. This is their heaven. It's our hell. I'm speaking parabolically. And this is their heaven. Because this is their rulership. Right? Verse 8, they are corrupt and speak wickedly. So they're very corrupt people. Corruption in high places. Remember, they're corrupt because whoever controls the money, the finances, they control the governments, they control what's issued out. right? They are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression, right? They speak, bro. They ridicule our people. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. See, the blacks, they lazy. They don't want to work. They're useless. Well, first of all, another thing, who funded the slave trade? It was them, right? They funded the slave trade, by the way, right? They funded it, and the Ishmaelites built the boats. Right? Key thing, slave trade, right? And you had the docks. You had the docks in London, Bristol, or what, Manchester, and so forth. Okay, so that took money, right? And guess what? The ships were insured, by the way, if anything happened to them ships, because they had slaves on them. So the slaves were insured as well. They ain't gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you none of these things in school, though, are they? Because they don't want you to know these things. That's why. Okay. Yeah, these people are real quiet. They're cowards, man. Cowards. Right? Bro, they can't even... Bro, they can't even... See, these people are such flipping cowards. They have to be covert when they're coming to you, when they're directing stuff. They have to be covert. They can't even say, I don't like you, mate. Don't speak to me, or whatever. They have to be covert and whisper and mutter under their breath because they're witches and they're warlocks. But it's okay because Yahushua going to deal with them. Right? Because you're exposing them and you're exposing their society. I'm not speaking about the Jewish, by the way. I'm speaking about just certain people that want to come around you. Certain people that are around your environment. Right? Cowards. That much people you need to come up against one individual. Bro, you must be fucking weak. That much people. And you're still losing. Shit. I never knew I was that powerful. Salakia, I never knew that this word was that powerful. You need to hire out that much people to come up against one person. Mutter under your breath. Walk past my fence every morning and talk shit. Bro, if you have something to say it to my face. Stop with all that sidestepping. But that's what the devil does. Because the devil's a coward. And he knows he's losing. But soon, they're going to run out of steam soon. They're going to run out of steam. Right? These people hide their hand and they run. They say something and they run away. Bro, that's not bold. That's cowardice. Right? But they are corrupt. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. So the elites, they can put that out there because they control the media as well. Right? So they speak wickedly concerning our oppression. Right? They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens. And their tongue walketh through the earth. Wherefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are run out to them, the dregs. And they say, how doth the Most High know? Is there any knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Scriptures are letting us know. These are the ungodly. These are the ungodly. They prosper. It's hot out here today as well. It's boiling, isn't it? These are the ungodly that prosper in riches. Right? Now, I hope we don't watch this video and get carnal and say, he's against Jewish people. He hates all Jews. And he's anti-Semitic. I can't be anti-Semitic. Because I descend from Sham myself. Even so-called Chinese, they're Shamatic. Right? Even the Pakistanis, they come from Sham, right? Abraham, right? As well. So how can you be anti-Semitic if you're from Sham yourself? That's just another term to defend the so-called Jewish. Oh, he's anti-Semitic. How so? How so? Right? Got people talking about the Holocaust. The Holocaust is the Holocaust that. But what about the slavery? Over 100 million Negroes dead. Huh? I don't see any museum for that. And I've been to the what they call it, the Imperial War Museum, and they had a whole catalogue, a whole room just for the Jewish. Because I was in there. I've done a few lessons. I've done what? I've been there about 2 or 3 times now. And they had a whole section for the Jewish only. But why don't you have a section for the Negroes? Were they not in the war? You had Negroes in World War I, World War II? This what they've done. What basically what they've done? They've hijacked our nationality and made a religion out of it. Now they're calling themselves the Jews when you're not, right? You're not, because when you go to Deuteronomy 28, it talks about those that would be in cargo slave ships. The Jewish never went on slavery in cargo slave ships, right? Their so-called slavery, and I'm not going to get into the whole their whole thing was they were being persecuted, so-called in Auschwitz, right? Okay, they were brought to Auschwitz camp. And when you look at that word ghetto, by the way, a ghetto is a dwelling place for the Jews, basically, right? So these ghettos are like concentration camps for Jews, right? Because in Auschwitz, it's documented, they had they say it's a gas chamber, bro. They had swimming pools. You got pictures. So they hold on, bro. I thought they were being persecuted. They what? They had swimming pools in Auschwitz. I've never been to Auschwitz, so I wouldn't know. But there's so-called Jews that said they were just swimming, having a little swim. They had arcades. They had a football pitch. So hold on, you mean to? So it sounds like they were being protected. Now where are they today? They're all over America. Well, they're all across the world. A lot of them are in America, right? They weren't killed off because guess what? You have Edward Teller. Edward Teller, so he's Jewish, right? He was a physicist. What happened to your scientists? Your German scientists? They were kept alive, and they all happened to so-called be Jewish. Now are you seeing the pattern? They were kept alive. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, man. And I don't have I don't have a problem with Jewish people. I do have a problem with Edomites, Esau. Because you have Jewish that are they don't know, but they're actually Jews. Right? And the Jewish, they say you have to be I'm Jewish on my mother's side. That doesn't count. Because your nationality is determined by your father. Right? So it's your father that brings forth the lineage. Okay? Now you do have the Jewish amongst our people. I always say this, Amy Winehouse, she was one of our people. She's on that side. Right? Just check out our song. Valerie! She had soul. So I believe, she was, she says she was Jewish, but she was an Israelite. And you have, what's the other woman's name? Stacey Solomon. That also gives it away. You can tell, she's Jewish. But I believe she's an Israelite, highly talented. And the so-called real authentic Jews, they were going to have flavor. They were going to have a particular rhythm and spirit. Right? Even Adam Sandler. Right? Yeah, Adam Sandler. Right? That guy is funny. He's so-called Jewish. I believe he's one of our people. So I'm not. This ain't a video getting at the so-called Jewish. They're all evil. No, even some of them amongst them are our people. I don't teach hate. I'm not teaching hate. Right? This is a whole lot of information that's coming out, and there's more of them as well. I don't know all their names. Who else? Barbara Streisand. What's her name? Barbara Streisand. She could be one of our people. There's loads of them. Okay. And who do you think ran the Beatles? Right? Jewish. Yeah, the Jewish executive that ran the Beatles. They're all over the gaff. Right? So I'm done with that. Is there anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Right? That's pretty much it. But in terms of everything that's going on and the shot callers within this society, is Amalek, is Esau. Read about Esau and Jacob. You had two brothers, right? Esau came out first and Jacob had his hand on Esau's heel, which was indicative of that war between both of those nations. And that's what's going on now. You have Esau, you have Jacob. Esau, Jacob, Esau, Jacob. Right? Esau represents the so-called white people of today. So-called white, I say so-called because it's not just about skin color. But that's who Esau represents today. They came out red and hairy like a garment. It gives you his description, right? When certain white people get mad, their faces turn red, right, like a tomato. But that represents Esau. And Esau wasn't given the promises. Oh no, he did have something. It was the fatness of the earth. When you read it, I think it's somewhere in Genesis 25. Excuse me just a minute. This is a whole history lesson as well. Genesis 20, I think Genesis 25. Right? I don't want to read all of it out because there's a lot here. Genesis 25. And we go into this when they were both fighting in the room. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord Jehovah for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. They were struggling. They were fighting. This is representative of two nations. Right? And she said, if it be so, why am I dust? You got to imagine it. Stone cold stunners, fly kicks in the room. They were doing all types of stuff. And she went to inquire of the Lord, and it means not of the Heavenly Father herself, a prophet. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy room. Two nations. And you got people getting offended. Oh, he's racist. He's extreme. Yeah, he dresses like one of them. I've even heard that before. Right? It says two nations are in thy womb. That's separation. And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. All right, two nations, two manner of people in Rebekah's womb. Right? This is Esau and Jacob. And it says, and she shall be separated from the bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other. So you are also going to have a nation that we're going to be stronger than the other. You already know who that is. And the elder shall serve the younger. So the elder was Esau because he came out first. So he was going to be serving us. And that's why we talk about a kingdom where Esau is going to be our servant. And the first came out, verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Twins. Right? In her womb. Right? And the first came out red. The boy come out red. All over like a hairy garment. Okay? And they called his name Esau. Which means way to the way is he. Because never seen nothing like that before. And even in Nigeria and certain places in West Africa, if you have an albino child, they will kill that albino child. In West Africa, that's what they do. Because they see it as unnatural. And they end up selling their organs. This is what goes on. But that's another topic. And after that came out his brother out, and his hand took on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And the reason it said took on Esau's heel, remember they were fighting. And it says the first shall serve the elder shall serve the younger, which is Jacob. Right? So Esau would serve us. And Isaac was 3 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. It even gives these characteristics. A man of the field. So don't get it twisted. Yeah, the so-called white people, are they men of the field? Yeah, they're of the field. Just check out that individual Bear Grylls. They're men of the field. Right? And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. He just likes to relax in them tents. Right? And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison. I'm not going to read it all. But Rebekah loved Jacob. So the father liked Esau more because he did eat of his nice venison. Right? And this whole thing about, oh, so-called white people can't cook. No, that's actually a lie. It shows they can cook. Because it says Isaac loved his venison. Right? But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sowed pottage. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. I'm thinking, should I go into this? I might as well. Okay. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray. See, this is basics. We're getting back to the basics. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. Right? He was faint, for I am faint. Passing out. Therefore was his name called Edom, which means wasted away. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. The first sellout was Esau, the first sellout ever. Sell me this day thy birthright. Okay. And Jacob said that basically. Right? Sell me this day thy birthright. Right? First, you give me that birthright. Right? Then I'll give you that pottage that you're so starving for. Hey, this is heavy because I haven't been in this. See, this is the fundamentals to let you know what's going on with different nations. All the history is in the Bible, everything, right? And if you're hearing this, I hope you're writing these notes down. And it says, and Esau said, behold, I'm at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright be to me? What profit? What the birthright ain't gonna be nothing to me. I'm the birthright was everything because it was a birthright. And Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. I swear is an oath, right? So the first sellout was Esau. When Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way, thus Esau despised his birthright. The first sellout. So this also goes into the first person to sell out was Esau. He sold his birthright for some lentils and soup. Right? Maybe just okay. And there's more. That was the first time he was supplanted, but he got supplanted again. Right? Excuse me just a minute. Okay. I'm thinking, should I go? I might as well go into it. I might as well finish it off. Now we're going to jump to Genesis 27. And there is a lot here. We might as well go into it. Genesis 27. Because basically what I'm going into is, we were talking about Jewish, is that they're actually Esau, right? Remember, they call themselves by different names. They say they're European, they say they're French, they say they're Greek, they say they're Scottish, they even say, some of them say they're Irish. No, they're not. They're Esau. Remember, they're trying to hide from that nationality. Okay? But really, they do tell you who they are, because even when the Rothschilds were set up in Germany, they had a red shield, right? And that red shield, what does it represent? Rothschild, right? Surname for red shield, Rothschild. Because they're red. And what color did Esau come up? So they're letting you know. Because the elites, they know who they are. According to the Bible, they know. It's just that you peons and you goyim don't know. Okay? Now there's quite a lot here, but I want to bring it out. Well, because sure. So let's go to Genesis 27. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son. And he said unto him, my son, he said unto him, behold, here am I. And he said, behold, now I am old, and now know not the day of my death. Now wherefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow. So Esau remember, he was a hunter as well. And go out to the field and take me some venison, because he loved his venison. Isaac loved his venison. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and bring it, right? And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord power, before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats. So Rebekah overheard Isaac speaking to Esau, telling him to get that meat and bring it back in. So Rebekah she told Jacob what to do, right? And get the kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. Because remember, there was a blessing. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau is my brother, he is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. So Jacob didn't want to do that, right? Because the scriptures do say, thou shalt not lie. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice and go fetch them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made them savoury meat such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son of Esau, which were in with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her son. So she took the kids, remember kids of goats are hairy, so she went and stick that upon Jacob's arm. So if Isaac was touching Jacob, she would think it was Esau. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck, and she gave the savoury meat and bread as she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. He said, here am I. Who art thou, my son? Remember, he was blind, his eyes were going dim. And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison, that the soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? So Isaac had discernment, and he said, because the Lord thy power brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may fill thee, my son, whether that be my very son Esau or not. Right? And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice. Right? Hold on, this don't sound like Esau. But the hands are the hands of Esau. That's because, remember what Rebekah done? She put the kids of the goat's hair upon Jacob. Right? And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother's Esau's hands, so he blessed him. And he said, thou art my very son Esau. And he said, I am. And it wasn't, remember this was Jacob. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought it him with wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came there and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which the Lord Yahweh have blessed. Therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of earth and plenty of corn and wine. This was supposed to go to Esau, by the way, but this was a supplanting. Let people serve thee and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, which this also ties him in the Messiah. And let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee. Whew, powerful. So when you have people that curse us, the scripture says, cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac his mother, that Esau his brother came in from hunting, right? And he also had made savoury meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. Oh, and that's spiritual as well. That's because the first blessing will go to the firstborn son. So this also makes sense as well. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten all of that before that camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard of the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me, also my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away their blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he supplanted me these 2 times. Right? Twice. The first one was Esau. He sold his birthright for lentil and porridge. And this was the second one. Right? For he supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. And behold, no, he didn't take away your birthright. You sold your birthright, you liar. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, how hast thou not reserved the blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy lord. and his brethren have I given to him for servants, which ties him with Yahweh Shai, because we're all going to be servants under Yahweh Shai. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. Esau lifted up his voice and wept, cried. And Esau, Isaac his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Which ties in with the premise of the lesson. Because remember, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is Esau's blessing. You ever been on them motorways and you see them massive fields, massive farms? That is his blessing. Right? You see acres and acres and acres of land. That is his blessing. Right? Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. That's why he's got helicopters, right? And so forth, right? We don't have, you so-called Negroes, you don't have any helicopter programs, space programs. And that by that sword thou shalt live. Doesn't he live by the sword? Yes. And that's why we're not supposed to get carnal. We don't promote getting arms or nothing like that. And by that sword shall I live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And that's what he done. And that's why he's rebellious today. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. It's the same thing today. Right? So Esau knows that we're blessed as a nation, and he hates that. And the elites, that they're trying to get that blessing back. They want that blessing. Why do you think they push out so much sin? Because they know maybe if they can get us in sin, they can get that blessing, but they're not going to get that blessing back. And the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, check this out, right? Key thing, with his father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then would I slay my brother Jacob. So he's feeling a particular way, right? And it all ties in with today, right? Yet the elites today, we're not so much, they call themselves Jewish. They're Esau, they're Edomites, they're Amalek, right? Our wicked brother Esau. And they're the ones that are running the world today. And Satan's dealing with them directly. Okay? And we are Jacob, Yaquab. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Indianos. Okay? That descend from these tribes. So that's what the war is. There's a battle against you so-called Negroes and so-called white people. Within the scriptures, I just brought it all out. Okay? So with this, I hope this was edifying. And until the next time, shalom.